Welcome back, Summoners, to week 3 of the Garena Premier League, and this is the end of the week, and we have come to our last game. So casting with me, I'm Jason, and casting with me is iFreedom. So iFreedom, why don't you run us through the events of tonight?
Alright, so earlier this evening, we saw Wargods PID Diamonds, the sister team of the team that we're watching right now, take on BKT, the titans of this group, and BKT took the series 2-0 as expected, hands down, clean game. But the game we just saw, ASUS Fate against Wargods, the main roster Wargods, incredibly close.
Definitely
4 Nexus
indeed.
turrets down.
So a lot of people are expecting ASUS Fate to be the favorites of sorts, but the older Wargods squad is showing us that being the one extra split of GPL definitely helps. You get all this experience, you're able to prepare so much better for these games, and they definitely brought the game to ASUS Fate. There was some very interesting backdooring moments, lots of tense moments when JLC looked like he could have entered the game, but nonetheless it was ASUS Fate to find the one less team fight and just pull the trigger, shove all the way down the middle lane and end the game.
Right. ASUS Fate really pulling out the win from underneath the feet of Wargods, taking that victory that they shouldn't have had. Wargods had the 2 Nexus turrets down, they had it if the JLC was on a roll, and then they just snatched it out of their hands.
So now, I do remember watching the old Wargods and stuff like that, because we're gonna have a little bit of downtime here, as there seems to be a little bit of problems in the lobby. So Wargods, well, the last time we saw them play in the GPL, I believe Stronger, their current support, was playing the jungle. And I do believe there are a few other very notable people playing for them as well. I think Stronger, Hero, Light, so it's Ribanga,
And Fear.
I believe that this was the old lineup, but now the current lineup has been changed to a lot stronger. You see, previously the jungler has now moved into the support position, and the rest of the team looking very different as well. They have Archie in the mid lane, they have Vi as the AD carry, and I have to say though, they are putting a much better performance as the Wargods we used to see in the previous split of the GPL. They did manage to take off a game against Marchi, but that was against a very crippled Marchi. The one with, I believe his name was Huang Lisheng.
Big Brother.
Big Brother, yes.
Big Brother.
Playing the Mundo at the top lane.
Right, JLC really showing an impressive game that previous game. Single-handedly carrying Vi up to his feet. After Kalista took that 2v2 lane, he managed to drag the game long enough for Lucian to come back to the game. But as we mentioned, unfortunately, ASUS Fate really jinky with that Syndra plays.
Definitely indeed. There was a very huge stun, landing in the 2 very important members towards the end of the game, stunning up, I believe, was Vi as well, Stronger into the bottom lane, allowing the rest of the team to simply pile onto them and take out these very important members on the side of Wargods team. That opened up a 4-0 for them, and that just allowed them to shove down all the way the mid lane and make, I would call it rather of a comeback victory.
Yep. It was very close. 4 Nexus turrets down the total of the game. I mean, JLC, Vi, Ochi, they had an immense amount of damage, but they didn't have the lockdown they needed. They had single target lockdowns, but Jinky, as well as the rest of the lineup, Kalista, Morgana, they had multiple lockdowns for the entire team. So locking down more than a single member really played a big factor to the fact that ASUS Fate was managed to turn team fights around when Wargods overextended, stayed too long, they got locked multiple members down and just take the game back, and really showing them the power of multiple lockdowns in a single team.
I mean, the thing I want to talk about now is the Kalista pick we saw in the previous game. I wonder if it will be better in this game, but nonetheless, I have to say it's a rather impressive. Okay, I'm not going to call it impressive, it's an okay performance by Slay on the Kalista. He put up decent stats at the end of the game, but it wasn't mind-blowing. It's like, oh my god, Kalista is going to be the new AD carry, he's going to be the new best champion. Yes, there were some very interesting shenanigans he put off together with Morgana, but they could have done better. Could have done better.
I mean, it is the first time that they are bringing it out. They might not be comfortable playing Kalista on the competitive scene, and but in the 2v2 lane, they did win that 2v2 lane. So that's something as we go into pick and bans.
So here we are finally into the pick and bans. We have to see if the Arena gets banned out on the side of ASUS Fate, and or if the Callista gets banned out by the GameX Wargods.
And will Wargods be the ones banning out Syndra? Considering that Jinky really did show off, but it looks like ASUS Fate is going to stick with that Maokai ban. Not going to let JLC play that one.
So LeBlanc being the response ban here as well. So things being rather the same from both of these teams over here. Sticking with the Maokai ban, LeBlanc coming in from the GameX Wargods as well. They definitely do not want to play against the Assassin, the mid lane. Let's see if ASUS Fate change the bans up by much in this game. I think that's the thing about the best of two. You prepare one strategy, and if you're going to stay with the same strategy for the second set of the game, you're usually just going to keep your bans the same. So it's the Maokai and the Jace. The bans more or less staying the same. Jarvan as well being coming in for the GameX Wargods. So I think both of these two teams, they just want to rematch what happened earlier. They felt that, okay, this is where they had the break. You were able to go back and think about their games and say, okay, this is where we went wrong. And I think these are the things that we can change to improve and prevent the previous scenario from happening again. So it is going to be the Arena ban, and GameX Wargods is not going to change much. It is the Arena ban, and they are going to surrender the Lissandra over the ASUS Fate, which should be instantly locked in at the start.
So Wargods choosing, let's see what they're going to choose to respond to that. Leaving out Lissandra to ASUS Fate, that is a very, very strong pick for the top lane or the mid lane. She can go both lanes. So Wargods, are they going to opt for that Morgana pick? We did see a very strong showing of Morgana the previous game. Zac, I don't think there's going to be a Zac, but Lee Sin might be a possibility.
I do believe that this should be a Morgana as well as Lee Sin coming for the GameX Wargods on the side of ASUS Fate. They have showed the Lissandra that enables a very strong pick composition for themselves. Lee Sin as well Morgana, I would say it does pretty decently in these areas because it gives them a fair amount of disengaged tools, and the Morgana together, the Morgana has a Black Shield as well as a Dark Binding to put on their own vision pressure as well. Lee Sin has got the escapes with the Safeguard as well as the Dragon's Rage to disengage away from some sticky situations.
Not to mention the fact that Morgana is a very versatile pick. She can go to the mid lane, or in some occasions go into the top lane. So we might be seeing what Wargods have up their sleeves. ASUS Fate gotta respond with that Syndra pick for Jinky.
So Jinky once again, Ubena's Oriana, he's just going to default to this Syndra over here. We have to see though, I'm not sure if it's going to be a mistake to be showing the Syndra this early on. And we see if Wargods will be able to punish this. I do believe Fizz in the mid lane, or perhaps an assassin in the form of maybe Zed, will be able to do quite well with the Syndra. Okay, Zed's not really the best idea because Zed has got terrible laning phase. But perhaps Fizz, his laning phase is always bad anyway. You can bully him out 1 to 5, but the moment he gets at level 6, charm the waters, go in, get the kill, and then start roaming around the map.
Right, so the previous game, they did leave that Syndra pick for the last pick after they saw TF come out.
It is going to be a Nocturne, however, being hovered over by ASUS Fate. They hovered over this. I think they were contemplating about it quite a fair bit in the previous game. So it looks like they're just not going to lock in the Syndra just yet. I think this is going to be the Nocturne as well as the Trash. We haven't seen much of the Nocturne, but this is going to work very well with the Lissandra. Here's the thing. This gang is going to come out from nowhere. Lissandra's going to cast a Frozen Claw into the wall. She's going to appear next to you out of nowhere, lock you down, and bam, Nocturne comes in from the side.
I mean, we saw the previous match how global presence is very important with the Pantheon picks. Previous game, Ochi with his Destiny Gates didn't really play out much. ASUS Fate is going to take that global into their own hands with the Nocturne's Paranoia. Paranoia.
Paranoia.
Yeah, Paranoia. So with that, Nocturne is going to be the threat. Wargods is going to respond with the Kassadin pick. They might be choosing for more mobility. Now that Nocturne has been locked in, they might want to just get out of fights. And if anything goes awry, they can just back out whenever they want.
Definitely, if things go awry, they have the ability, they have the mobility to back in and out of these fights. But picking a Kassadin blind to their opponents, I'm not really sure if that's the best choice. Currently, they might still be able to send them to the top lane. I think Kassadin does fairly okay against the Syndra in the laning phase itself. But they are going to be securing the Corki for themselves, and we have to see what ASUS Fate goes for. Here's the thing, because Corki has been nerfed quite recently, if they go for the Callista again, I think it's going to be very difficult for Corki to be able to land the Phosphorus Bomb if ASUS Fate does go for the Callista. But looks like they're going to be switching up things a little bit, and Slay is hovering over the Graves.
Right, so Graves will be a very strong pick, but they might go for the Caitlyn instead. I'll bring out the point of GameX Wargods, so they are playing a very, very mobile team with the addition of the Corki now. So really, really very mobile. ASUS Fate has their lockdown from Lolita as the Lissandra, so they are still looking for their mid lane pick. Will that Syndra be coming through? They still have to decide. Graves or Caitlyn? That is the question as well.
Well, I would definitely love to see the Kalista here once again because she's able to kite away from a lot of these people. But here's the thing, against the mobility, against the gap closers and deliver for the GameX Wargods, Kalista isn't really the best choice. If you see your opponent taking things like Shyvana, things like Udyr, things that allow you to kite away very easily with Kalista's passive, then she's fantastic. But in this case, perhaps they're going for more of a wombo combo. We see the last pieces of the puzzle coming in as well. So it's going to be a mid lane Lissandra and a top lane Malphite. So I think this Castle will be going into the mid lane to face up against the Lissandra, and let's see what they go in the top lane against the Malphite.
So Malphite. So we had the unstoppable Skyfall coming in from Malphite Pantheon. Now we have the Pantheon Malphite Nocturne combo. So that's gonna be very interesting exchange to see how that works out as well.
You know what I would like to see here? I would actually like to see Trundle come into play here from the GameX Wargods. Because Trundle against Malphite, you're able to sap away the tanky stats that he builds by, oh no, it is going to be cast in the top lane, and they're going to be picking the Twisted Fate into the Nocturne. So this is a very interesting choice. They already set up the Nocturne to be able to deal with this possible Twisted Fate pick, but now there's GameX Wargods, they say, okay, I think Twisted Fate should be able to do okay with Lissandra, we'll worry about the Paranoia later, and they lock in the Twisted Fate. So it's going to be a Cassidy top lane, Twisted Fate mid lane. So my prediction was a little bit off in that case.
Right, so with the addition of TF, GameX Wargods have a mobile team, but they don't have the lockdown that they need to actually synergize with the TF's Destiny Gate.
I'm just wondering here if JLC is going to go for the blue build ADTF that he's so famous for.
Cassidy.
Because in the Cassidy, because in the Southeast Asian servers, JLC, he's one of the top 100, top 50 or so in the Singaporean server, and he plays exclusively, not exclusively, but lots of this unconventional Cassidy, where he goes for the blue build and gets all these very weird items and goes full AD instead. I mean, they did it once or twice in Korea as well, but to see it being played at this level is something that requires a little finesse to do. And we saw JLC, his performance on Irela previously, really stellar. Let's see if he can repeat that on the Cassidy.
I mean, he is going up against a Malphite, so it might not be the best of choice to go up against Malphite. That would depend on whether Malphite builds the Chalice or not. If Malphite goes Chalice, then the AD Cassidy would really work well because the MR is not going to block anything.
I mean, it's fantastic either way because you just start, you build the tier first, and then after you choose to specialize. If he builds armor, you build the Raw of Aegis, and then you go AP. If he goes MR instead, then you go for the blue build.
Yeah, so it's a very flex pick for the Cassidy. But how is it going to synergize with the TF? They have that global chasing potential.
I think it's a very strong big composition that's coming from the GameX Wargods. So once again, going with this skill shot coming in from the support together with the global presence coming from Orgy. Destiny, I can see everyone on your team now, and then we can just go in. But here's the thing, now ASUS Fate, they have the ability to deny away that vision presence with the Nocturne. And that's going to help them a lot. Just pop the Paranoia, deny their vision, and then punish them. But the TF's Destiny is unable to see anything.
And not to mention that they did pick up their Graves, so they do have an immense amount of burst damage coming in. They have the Unstoppable Force coming from Malphite, Frozen Tome from Lissandra. Graves is just gonna instant burst a single target if they get the chance to.
So in this case, the GameX Wargods, they're playing more for very delicate dance. I would say that if they play this composition perfectly, they should be able to out-rotate and outplay ASUS Fate on multiple levels. But here's the thing, ASUS Fate, they have just so many chances to hard engage on their opponents. If they're able to catch a one member, two people on the side of GameX Wargods, they should be able to very easily snowball this in their favor. While I really like Wargods composition, because it requires such delicate execution, I will actually feel that ASUS Fate will be able to take this game. They're very heavily favored to take this game.
Right, so ASUS Fate are in this series 1-0 right now. This game, if Wargods do take this game, it will bring them back to another tie. If ASUS Fate takes this series, it will secure them the second spot for now in the groups. So this match really has a lot lying on it. Wargods have to really win this game to stay in the competition.
Definitely indeed. So just to talk about the standings as a whole, we've played about 3 weeks each for each group, and so this is Group A that we're looking at right now. Bangkok Titans have already established themselves at the top of the group, going 6-0, winning all three best of twos, 2-0. And on the other side of Group A, we have PID Diamond at 0-6 with 0 points, sitting at the bottom of the table. So this is kind of the tiebreaker between both of these two teams. They have 3 points apiece. And if ASUS is able to win this, they're going to go 2-0. They're going to go up to 6 points. So then moving on. But however, what I would like to see here is actually a draw between both of these two teams, because that's going to throw Group A wide open, and it's going to make things very interesting. Whereas in the rest of the groups, we see the ties coming in here and there. I believe on Wednesday, the Fat Rabbit tied against the Hanoi Fullers. And last week, we saw Kuala Lumpur Hunters tying against, I believe was Insidious Gaming Legends. And in the first week of the GPL, we saw the unexpected happen. Saigon Fantastic 5. They dropped the game to Minaski, which puts them in a very interesting situation with APU in Group B as well. So we have to see how all of these things pan out. Currently, Group A looks like the most date-pen one, the most obvious one. Oh, this team is going to take it, that team is going to be second, and then everything's going to follow. But Wargods, they showed us a very strong performance in the first game. If they are able to tie this, Group A is going to be joining the rest of the groups in terms of interest level.
Right, this proves that GPL, as we spawn into the league, ASUS Fate gonna spawn on the blue side with Wargods on the red side. This game is to determine who will be the second place team in this group for now, or will they just stick with the tie?
So the GameX Wargods, they're spawning on the right side and on the blue side. Jinky, this time playing the Lysandra, the MVP of the previous game, securing ASUS Fate, the game when it mattered, and GLC this time on the casting. I'm really interested to see what he builds into. Oh, Myoyu as well as Q just saying hi to each other. Q goes into Resonating Strike. Myoyu actually coming out slightly ahead in the trade over there as he's able to get the passive down and heal himself up a little bit. Oh, once again, it's the Sonic Wave, and now they're in terms of health.
Oh.
Lolita saying hi to JLC. They both trade and exchange high fives, but Lolita taking a little bit of damage from them while not returning any damage to JLC.
So once again, this looks like there won't be any lane swords coming in from this side, which would make sense considering it is a Grace Corki matchup. Oop, Slay just gonna shoot stronger as he walks out of the jungle.
Once again, these two junglers just exchanging back and forth skill, as well as Myoyu exchanging damage with one another. Myoyu actually taking a fair amount of damage in this case. I think he got a little bit careless, allowing Q to drop a little bit of extra damage onto him, but I believe with the sustain and with him going back to the base, that shouldn't be too much of a problem. Oh, this is very sneaky. ASUS Fate, they're initiating a lane swap.
Oh, so the moment Stronger saw Stray, they decided to go for the lane swap. How that works out will be Lolita will be joining Meow in the jungle, and they might want to look for the shutdown on JLC. They might know that JLC is a very proficient Cassadin player, so that's the target they're looking for.
So they see the Graves in the top lane. So we have to see how the GameX Wargods, they manage this over here. So we have two people starting in the jungle over here. This is going to give Wargod a slight lead in the jungle. But we see the Trash moving over, dropping some wards. It's going to be a very aggressive roam very early on. Akiho, is he going to try for this sneaky steal? I have to wonder. Skill as well as JLC guarding out very well. It looks like they will be sharing the experience of the raid buff over here. The moment JLC hits level 2, I wonder if they're going to make any plays on the mid. We see Nocturne as well as the Trash trying to corral them into the Razor Beaks over here. I wonder if anything's going to happen. Oh, this looks really dangerous for the GameX Wargods. But nonetheless, Akiho will be backing away.
Right, so they must have noticed something was off when Grace has been in the lane for so long alone. So sticking together JLC and Skill, Meow decided against going for that gang because he is level 2. He doesn't have really that much lockdown. He does have the damage, so good wise choice backing off. Lolita's gonna help him with the blue red buff, and they're gonna hit level 2. And let's see if Lolita goes back to lane, and he does not.
So far, not much action happening on either side of the map just yet. There's this very high explosive potential that's going to happen in the mid lane over here. But Akihil, he's just sacrificing so much levels to consistently put pressure down on his opponents over here. He's still level 1. Stronger, on the other hand, has been level 3. Usually when you do this as a support, you usually want to be putting lots of pressure on your opponent's laners. But he's not been able to do that just yet. He's just been walking around the jungle. Oh, here comes possibly a very explosive fight in the mid lane. GLC as well, skill, they're looping around the side. They actually know the opponent's jungler isn't there. They might run into Lolita in the jungle. Oh, Lolita spots him out just in time. So this is going to be a 4-0 push happening in the bottom side of the map. Stronger as well as Vi should be able to push that down. They do not choose to finish the Grumps. Oh, okay. Oh no, they do not finish off the Crocs.
Right, so this is where the difference in strategy comes out. GameX Wargods are going to look for this 4-0 push on this turret. They're going to get this turret for sure. Meanwhile, Stray has decided to freeze the top lane, leaving Akiho at level 2 right now. So that's a very, very interesting choice coming from ASUS Fate. Are they going to stop this push? It looks like they just group up in the mid lane.
One other question is, do the GameX Wargods go on for another turret? We actually see a gang in the mid lane. There we go. It's the bring of Frost. Archie, excellent flash, dodges out of there. The chain CC being missed by Akio actually.
So with 3 members showing up mid, GameX Wargods are going to continue this push at the bot lane, knowing that Lolita's the only one there. They can't really stop them. They're going to get a huge amount of damage on this turret. Don't think they'll be able to take it down, but Stray is still not pushing out their top lane.
Lolita doing a fair amount of damage to skill over there, and the moment that comes in, actually Akio coming around the side, trying to land a hook down onto his opponents, but doesn't really succeed in doing so.
So will we see JLC go back and get that tail of the goddess? Does he have enough gold for that?
Now this is a very interesting situation because he only has got 5 CS at this point in time. Yes, he's gotten a fair bit of levels. I would say that that's actually not bad for the Cassidy, because what Cassidy really wants to do is scale up in levels first, then scale up in gold, and then scale up in time, because he wants level 6 so he can get the Rift Walk to be able to escape ganks, as well as get a little bit of mobility in the lane to be able to trade and harass his opponent. And then he wants gold to be able to complete the scaling items, and then once he gets the scaling items, he will scale with time.
Right, so because of the fact that Stray didn't push out the lane, this gives JLC the freedom to farm up at the top lane. We saw him use his teleport to go up there. Trash, Akiho, still walking around, not gonna find anything. As for 3 members of the squad of Wargods, gonna hang around outside Dragon.
This is very interesting how GameX Wargods are the ones who are responding more aggressively to this lane swap. Usually the team that initiates the lane swap usually has got a very aggressive plan as to how they're going to execute the rest of the lane swap. But in this case, it's the Wargods who are the ones aggressively attacking ASUS Fate. Who were the ones who initiate the lane swap? Akiho does go down to Morgana as first blood is secured.
Poor Akiho walking into 3 members of the side of Wargods. They didn't have the vision that they needed to walk around. Trash, really, the turret was down and they didn't have vision in the tri-brush. Wargods had the vision on Trash and they just collapsed onto him. Looks like they go for the mid lane though.
Oh, once again into the mid lane now. The Frozen Tone comes out, but accident Black Shield from Stronger will allow them to easily escape away from that one. I have to say, this Morgana pick working wonders for the GameX Wargods.
Why did Stronger aggro the dragon? Is he gonna get stopped?
Looks like
okay, he's not.
Isn't gonna be.
Alright, so Stray is gonna find out JLC at the top lane. JLC managed to farm out quite well under this turret, already having that 7 CS up onto the Malphite. But he might go down. Oops,
oh,
the
there
TF.
we go. It's the Destiny Gate. It's the slow being dropped down. Archie, he have the flash for the stun, but Stray with the dash as well as the movement speed, we'll be able to escape away from that one. So it's a field gang. Archie a little bit misplaced with his positioning over there.
But because of that, they do manage to get up the blue buff of the enemy team. Lolita will be spotting this out, but will he
not just yet. Lolita as well as Jinky, it looks like they might be wanting to respond to this one over here. Jinky tries to go for the steal, but in the end, Archie does secure it for themselves. Wargods taking a very comfortable 2,000 gold lead over their opponents.
Right, and now Vi has shifted over to the mid lane, so looks like Wargods will be shifting their focus onto this mid lane turret. Will they be going for the dragon?
Akio coming in, he has to back away as he dodges multiple things, but the gold card will come down, and there's going to be the kill secured for Vi as Archie locks him up with a stun.
So this will open up that dragon for the side of Wargods. They pick up the kill onto the support. Akiho really being out of position this game, walking into the members, going a little bit too aggressive. He is a little bit under leveled. Actually, he caught up in levels with Stronger right now, so just getting caught out without his support from the team. Wargods gonna take this dragon and take the advantage to like a 3,000 gold lead.
Skill being dropped extremely low. There's lots of burst damage that might come in from Stray. He does drop the collateral, however, but they're unable to get the execute onto the dragon as they do not have the necessary vision. So in the end, is the GameX Wargods who pick up the dragon and the momentum of this first 8 minutes of the game.
Right, so that's a 2,000 gold lead for the side of Wargods. JLC looks to be going for the Raw of Ages with that catalyst up. So he will be. Actually, he is in the mid lane right now, looking for a gang with Ochi. Not gonna find one right now. So Lolita will be the next target, as we see Stronger's gonna hit up there as well.
So multiple members headed up into the top lane, but I do believe Lolita will be going back to base. We see him picking up a Ruby Crystal as well as a Sapphire Crystal. I do believe he will be going for the Righteous Glory. We see a lot of Venomese teams go for this in the VCSA, sorry. And I think that that's the build that Lolita will be going for in this case. Get together the Unstoppable Force. Archie tries to go down. Here comes the Frozen Tome, but Stronger comes in from the back. Will the Lissandra be able to find the kill? But here comes the teleport. Jinky does get the execute onto Tsusafe, but here comes Lolita. It is the Unstoppable Force as well. Akihio is there with the full up. Is the flay, and Stronger will be going down.
Oh, that was rather unfortunate for the side of Wargods. They wanted Stronger to be there to block out the damage with the Black Shield onto Ochi, but Ochi engaged a little too early, letting Jinky cast that full Frozen Tome onto him. So that was a very nice counterplay from Jinky. Lolita having to spend a teleport though means that JLC will get some more free farm in his top lane.
So it looks like we are into a pause for a little bit. Looks like one of the teams have got technical issues. We have to see how this pans out, however. So let's try to break down the game so far. Wargods, they had a rather dominating start, aggressively attacking the lane swap that came in from ASUS Fate. But ASUS Fate, they chose to freeze the lane. They didn't really push the turrets. So now they find themselves down on objective. And because Wargods is simply more aggressive, they're able to find more aggressive picks. They picked up a dragon for all their efforts as well. However, on the side of ASUS Fate, with the recent play, they were able to find some counter plays and find some kills for their own members. So now we see the Lissandra have a kill and the Trash have a kill.
So now that the members of ASUS Fate have hit level 6, they do have their power spikes, they have their Unstoppable Force, they have the Frozen Tome. So this is where ASUS Fate will be looking to get the ganks off, to get that control back into their hands, because they do have the lockdown, they do have the strong CC as well as the burst damage. But who is the target they are going to go for? Because JLC has gotten his Riftwalk, skill is a Lee Sin, she has the mobility. Ochi is going to be pretty safe throwing the wildcard from the back. Vi, Stronger, they have Black Shield, they have the Valkyrie. Who is the target for ASUS Fate to lock down?
Well, definitely in this case, they definitely want to be looking for the Corki in the earliest stages, and depending on what JLC's position is, they might want to go for him as well. So here's the thing for ASUS Fate. How are they going to allocate their members to do JLC as well as Vi in the later stages of the game? In the first game of the series, we saw them over-focus on JLC and end up in the later stages, and resultantly in the later stages, Vi was able to simply clean house on ASUS Fate. We saw his Lucian getting triple kills, quadruple kills against ASUS Fate, because they just focused too much, they tunnel vision onto JLC, and once again, it's a very similar setup. Vi is playing an AD carry, Marksman of Swords, doesn't really matter which one, and JLC is playing a carry top laner that is able to dive the backline. So I think ASUS Fate, they should try to communicate this a little bit better and say, okay, you go out to JLC, you try to peel for Slay, and then the rest of us, we're going to go for Vi instead.
Right, so JLC, ASUS Fate rather, they have that big wombo combo ultimates that they want to use to their advantage. If they really prioritize JLC that much, Vi is on the Corki. Corki has that escape, it has the long range poke. So Wargods, they don't really need to be as close range as they did the previous game with that Lucian AD carry. Ochi back on the TF is going to have wildcards. If they want to siege up, they don't have to be as close as they needed to be last game. And it's just with the extra guarantee from Stronger with the Black Shield, it's gonna make it even safer for Wargods just to slowly siege down the turrets.
Here's the thing I don't like about Stronger's item build. I felt that he should be rushing Mikhails as quickly as possible in this game, because there's lots of CC that you want to be getting rid of with the Mikhails Crucible. But instead he chooses to complete the Frost Screen's claim, and that's going to send him about 1,300 gold behind, and that I think is about 7 minutes for a support.
Well, he does have 2 kills under his belt, so that might be a reason why he is going a little bit more aggressive.
Definitely, Morgana does do well with more AP as compared to some of the other supports, but I think you have to take a good read of the situation. You can't be 100% reliant on your Black Shield to always save out your carries. So in this case, you want to be able to get the Mikhails Crucible as quickly as possible.
Right, so with Mikhails Crucible being a core factor, we'll have to see how when Stronger actually picks that one up, or will he actually go for more of an offensive build. He does have that Fairy Charm, so it might look towards that. Meanwhile, Akiho hasn't even completed his Sightstone, having spent most of his time roaming around, not getting the ganks that he needed to. It's really troublesome for ASUS Fate if they can't get their vision down to capitalize on the fact that they do have their lockdowns. Nocturne has hit level 6, so Paranoia is in play. So that will be another key factor in ASUS Fate's lineup.
Now this is the point that ASUS Fate is looking for. When they have all the major ultimates available for themselves, they have the Unstoppable Fox and the Malphite, they have the collateral damage from the Grace. Box not available yet from the trash, but we have to see if GameX Wargods will be able to punish that when their Morgana gets the Soul Shackles for herself.
So the box really isn't that of a necessity, considering it is a zoning spell, it is a disengage. So unless Wargods really go hard on engage with Ochi, the box really wouldn't matter that much. They do have the core factors that they really need: the Paranoia, the collateral damage. Frozen Home. Let's see how Lolita's gonna fare when 2 people come out to gank him.
Oh, up in the top lane, Lolita, there's 2 people on to you. He doesn't have the Unstoppable Force, but he has the flash. He flashes out there, but the slow already has been landed. Jealousy as well stronger. The dark binding has been missed already, so Lolita will be able to escape away from that one, but at the cost of a summoner spell.
So Lee Sin's gonna be spot out.
Oh, there we go. Is the Destiny? Is he gonna be potting in? He tries to find Akio. They smelt him out, hiding in the brush over there. The Dark Bunny doesn't land, however, so there's no follow-up just yet. Excellent use of the spell shoe to negate out the go-kart coming in from Archie.
So Wargods just gonna siege out this mid lane. They do have that poke from the wildcards as well as the missiles, leaving JLC to farm up in the top lane. It's gonna help them really scale into the late game very well.
Now the GameX Wargods, they were very aggressive in the earlier parts of the game, but it looks like the aggression has kind of tapered off a little bit. They've tried to make aggressive plays in the mid lane, but that hasn't really worked out for them thus far. The Leishman and TF is being a little bit delayed. We saw him complete the march earlier from Archie in the previous game, and we see Lolita as well as JLC dueling out in the top lane. We have to note that JLC has got quite a significant CS lead over his opponent here, and we have to note that Lolita is going for more tanky Malphite in terms of getting raw stats, because he's going to go for the Righteous Glory. This is going to help him mitigate against JLC's more variable build path.
So Moreno Nomicon completed on Jinky. So one of the key factors that might have been that played a part in the stopping of aggression coming from Wargods is the fact that ASUS Fate have a lot of lockdown that can counteract that. Paranoia has been up.
Oh, Jinky goes in. This is the wombo combo. Instantly melts down. Skill as well as Archie. Here comes the response teleport. But what are they doing? The Dark Binding lands into Mew, and in the end, it's just a wasted summoner spell from JLC. Too little, too late.
So that was what I'm mentioning. The wombo combo coming in from ASUS Fate, pulling the trigger, getting 2 kills. JLC choosing to teleport to the mid lane. He didn't even have time to cancel the teleport when Lolita just Unstoppable Forced onto him, stopping it, giving it the full cooldown. Questionable choice to even teleport to that tower in the first place.
So Wargods definitely looking a little bit more shaky at this part of the game. ASUS Fate definitely being able to find their own pace now with all these major ultimates. Once again, the Lissandra with the play. He's getting the lockdown to stronger. There we go. Is the hook. The Black Shield is on the wrong person. JLC is shielded, but he's unable to get the damage now. But now he has the exhaust onto him. He pops the first charge. Is he able to get the execute on Akiho? There's lots of flashes coming from ASUS Fate. It's the slow being dropped now. Skill, however, is unable to land the kick or resonating strike.
That was a very, very nice box coming from Akiho. Just disengaging underneath that turret. It's gonna let them get out of there. Wargods will try to get this turret response though.
Oh, but now the members of ASUS feel a little bit low. I feel it's a little bit dangerous for them to stay around here. But slowly they're regenerating up the health and they clear out the wave. That's going to buy them a little bit of breathing time, maybe about 15 seconds. Wargods are going to continue the pressure onto here. They really want this turret.
Lolita has gone to that bot lane, so this turret will be going down soon. Where did JLC? Oh, he went there, but Jinky is gonna get Frozen Tone up very, very soon, so...
Oh, he tries to lock down skill, but the collateral damage doesn't really do too much damage, and it is Wargods' turn to come in with the burst damage. Now, Vi, what are you doing? Stronger comes in from the side, misses the Dark Binding Stay, trying to dodge around, using the minutes to shoot him off, but is he able to survive? He tries to turn around, he tries to get executed on Vi, he pops the flash, he pops the kill, some of the spells dropping everywhere, but now Myoyu is trying to go on to Vi, he gets the execute on JLC, does he get the kill on the Vi? It's the slow, it's the double, will he get a triple? Stronger lands the Dark Binding, but now GameX Wargods, they find themselves overextended and they have to be on the run.
So that was a very, very close fight from both sides. Wargod eventually managed to get that turret, but ASUS Fate waiting around that turret.
Teleport from the back is Lolita, and here he goes. The slow is dropped onto him, and he's going to go on to Stronger. There we go. It's a Righteous Glory completed. He's got the shield, and it is the unstoppable force going in and killing the Morgana. Stay comes in from the back and picks up a free listen from himself.
So with that teleport coming from Lolita, that totally changed the fight around, because now ASUS Fate are going to pick up their own turret instead, as well as get another 2 more kills. So very, very nice teleport coming from Lolita, as that steals the turret.
So Wargods, you have to wonder what's really happening here. They play well, and then after they get over aggressive. And JLC, he saw Slay a little bit too low, so he went in, and now he's turning on to Lolita instead. And this is the point where casting starts to get really scary. It's the slow being dropped, Force Pulse, auto attack, and there we go. It's the damage going on to Lolita. The Malva is on the run. He's able to drop the slows down, but JLC is going to be, his ultimate is going to come off cooldown, and there we go. Oh, in fact, he's going to use it too many times, so he's going to wait for that to completely come off cooldown, and there we go. It's a 0 charge off his ultimate, and one last auto attack. Oh, Lolita barely survived. JLC is able to get the last shot onto Lolita. The shield has proc Lolita. He's still alive, but in the end, JLC, he does get the last attack onto Lolita, and he will be picking up 2 kills.
Well, meanwhile, while that chase was going on, both teams have been posturing around Dragon, trying to get that one for themselves. They do pick up the Scuttle Crab on the side of ASUS Fate. Will they start this Dragon? Jinky is on the side. Frozen Tome is up. Paranoia is up. Will they go for this fight?
The vision has been cleared out already, but it's just simply too easy for Akio to just drop a ward over the wall of the Dragon Pit. So GameX Wargods, they wisely choose not to start it up, knowing that JLC, the main carry of the team, is nowhere near.
Right, so Wargods...
Never mind that, they started up anyway. So here comes Jinky from the side. This is very dangerous. The Lissandra, will she be able to land a very large ultimate? Akio goes in. Will they be able to find the steal? Here comes the Nocturne. Is he able to fire it up? And it is going to be the steal for the blue team. As Jinky uses the Frozen Tone on herself. It's 2 kills for them so far. ASUS Fate playing this really well. Archie showing the skills with TF, getting a return kill. But here comes JLC. Myoyu using the spell sheet to block things out. And now ASUS Fate, they're just disengaging away from the GameX Wargods.
That was a very nice use of Paranoia, splitting up the team of Wargods into two paths. So really, really good play. They saw JLC wasn't in that fight, so they decided to go in for it. Managed to pick up the Dragon for themselves, so that's a very good bonus. But this opens up the map for Wargods, as they do have the more man advantage.
No Lolita as well as Miri trying to hold a little bit of a defense here against this tower siege coming from the GameX Wargods. Are they going to go for an over-aggressive tower dive once again? JLC trying to loop around the left side, but the rest of the ASUS Fate team, they're coming in. They staggered their bases very well, and now, oh, JLC might be caught out here, but it's a Kazan. He's really slippery, he's really hard to catch. Akiho, will he be able to land the hook? They know he's in the brush. Will they go for him? But looks like they're just going to go in for the blue steel instead.
Right, so JLC has completed his Roar of Ages, so that will begin scaling up very, very quickly. TF has his Lich Bane, Triforce for Corki. Wargods have hit the power spike. Let's see how they take this to their advantage. ASUS Fate are gonna hit level 11 pretty soon. Nope, Jinky is the only one who's gonna hit level 11 in a short while. Actually, Slay is 11, so they do have level 2 ultimates. Both teams have a power spike.
Oh, there we go. They tried to lock down JLC, but he has a black shoe. Nonetheless, the damage is too much. Slay just goes in and gets the execute onto him. Now Stronger gets feared up. Akio as well as the rest to go in. And it is going to be a double kill. 4, 1, and 6 on this Graves.
Once again, this game is very, very similar to that previous game. Close fights back and forth. ASF, ASUS Fate, showing off why they have that powerful ultimate combo, wombo combo, and just locking down turrets, locking down targets, taking down JLC even though he has that Rift Walk.
So this is what I was saying in the pre-game. Wargods, they have a very strong finesse composition. If they make the right rotations, they make the right vision plays, they should be able to get a lot of mileage out of ASUS Fate. And we saw them out-rotating ASUS Fate in the earlier stages of the game. But now, once again, fight breaking out in the mid lane. Slay in a little bit of trouble. JLC gets locked up by the Frozen Tomb. Slay still alive. Now Vi tries to come in. Skill tries to go in, but gets locked up by the Ring of Frost. But he's under the turret. Mirio will be a very simple execute for him in the backline. Slay still alive. They weren't able to get the primary target, and ASF win the fight 2-1.
Once again, back and forth. Wargods going a little bit too aggressive in this one. Lolita's still in the fight. He's gonna look for...
Hook lands onto Stronger. They get locked up, but it is the Black Shoe to be able to save himself. Now Lolita is going to be waiting for the major ultimate once again. And here we go. They're not going to sync it up. They're just going to go in for Archie. Vi will be the next target. Exhaust has been dropped. Mirio flashes out there. The Hex Drinker is popped to save him. But now Stronger is on the run. There isn't the slow available. Akio, will he be able to find the hook? Stronger walks into the tight funnel. But Akio doesn't have the cooldowns, and he won't be able to lock up the opponent's support.
JLC is gonna look for blood. It's good for Lolita. Nope, he can't. Oh, Akiho in that hand.
Q coming around the right side. JLC lenses the Akio flacing away, but here comes Slay. The collateral damage is blown, and now JLC's dropped about half health, but Slay is in a whole bunch of trouble. However, they do get a kill. Now, would they be able to finish off JLC before Akio dies? Akio still alive, but it's going to be a double kill for Skill. Lolita coming in from the back, and ASUS a little bit discoordinated here. Oh, it's unstoppable force. I'm not really sure that's the smartest move coming from Lolita. He finds himself in a 1v3 situation. Lissandra coming around the left side. Skill still trying to duel things out with Lolita. The slow being dropped back and forth. The comms between these two teams, I'm not really sure what's going on.
These two teams are so close, neck and neck, kill for kill. And wow, JLC managing to pick up that kill onto Akiho really shows that even though ASUS Fate have their wombo combo, Wargods have their mobility, they have their chasing capabilities, and they have that global presence from Ochi.
Here's the thing, in terms of skilling, I feel that Wargods, they have the cast in, so they might do better. But there's an argument the ASUS Fate might outskill their opponents in this case, because they have the knockdown 5-0 and 7. It's sort of a carry jungler. You go in, and he's able to do tons of damage to the back line. And between Corki and Graves, both of these two champions, they're sort of even, because they're both mage marksmen. But I feel that Corki has a slight edge in this case, because he does more mixed damage, and he has the true damage coming from his passive.
But ASUS Fate do have that wombo combo, team comp, so it all depends if they can land and coordinate their ultimates correctly and really blow up the team of Wargods, or will Wargods sidestep around their ultimates and let JLC wreak havoc with their Cassadin that's going to scale up.
What I have to say is, in all these previous fights, ASUS Fate have done a very good job of locking down JLC's Cassadin.
Right, so JLC has to really step up his game if they are gonna carry themselves back into the game. 2k goal lead for ASUS Fate. Dragon will be spawned in 30 seconds. That will be the next area contest between these two teams if we look for the benefits. Red buff will be taken by Miao, actually handing that over to Slay. So Slay 5-2-6, going for that Infinity Edge instead of the Bloodthirster on the grave. So
here comes Q, he gets caught up by a little bit. Is he gonna get feared up? And the fear does proc onto him. Here comes Slay as the collateral damage, doing the full amount of damage to him. Is Miro gonna pop the ultimate to go in for the chase? The rest of the GameX Wargods are in position. Have they blown too much here? And the Dragon is gonna spawn. Both teams know that this is gonna happen, but they know that the opponent's Lee Sin is really low. Does ASUS Fate pull the trigger? Do they go for this one?
Ultimates are all off cooldown, so they do have the option to go for this. They will start out the Dragon.
Oh, Miyu gets caught up by the duck binding over the side. They're trying to poke down as much as possible, but this should be an easy dragon for ASUS Fate, knowing that skill was dropped way too low.
Now Wargods do have the inner lane, so they will be pushing up this mid lane. Will ASUS Fate be able to return to that mid lane to defend his turret? Looks like they will. And it looks like there'll be a
JLC
fight.
looping around from the backside. However, they're going for an engagement. They want to go onto Archie, and straight away his drop stronger will be the next focus as he's instantly gotten down. Skill locked up by the frozen tome. Just no chance at all. Vi now with the exhaust onto him together with the righteous glory. He's got absolutely no chance as ASUS Fate with the wombo combo plow right through the ranks of X Game Wargods.
JLC tried to pull off a sneaky maneuver coming from behind, but ASUS Fate put the trigger first, getting down 4 kills for nothing, as well as this inner turret in the mid lane. Wow, that was such a good play. And they even took the dragon, so that was a very, very beneficial play coming in. And ASUS Fate really showing the power of this wombo combo.
Definitely indeed. So Wargods once again, they have all these opportunities to make fancy movements around the map, but the warning coming from ASUS Fate, I have to say they have done a very good job because they were able to spot out JLC. They knew it was a 5 against 4, pull the trigger, go in, burst down Archie, exhaust Vi, make him the next target, and then simply clean up whoever else as collateral.
709 on this Nocturne. He has that Yomu's Ghost Blade, carry jungler indeed. He will be doing out tons of damage. Zonia Hourglass completed on Jinky, so that's another insurance right there. Iron Solari on Akiho, so really tanky stats as well as damage coming from ASUS Fate side. Vi on that hand is gonna go for that Blade of Ruin King's second item on that Corki. Interesting choice to go for that instead of the Bloodthirster or the Quicksilver Sash, considering that ASUS Fate do have quite a number of knockdowns.
Now we have to see what the Sheen becomes for JLC, if it's going to be built into a Lich Bane, or is he going to be building that into the Iceborne Gauntlet to help his team kite away from the opponents a little bit more. I'm actually a little bit more inclined towards the Lich Bane, so his team has got more damage to try and find Slay as well as Milyu after the commit. But at the same time, you have to think about how is he going to be able to contribute to the team fights, and that's going to be very important. Slay during our JLC, and he gets the solo kill despite being 2 against 1. Now he's on the chase, and there we go. It's the Destiny Gate combination coming. Lolita pops the Righteous Glory. They're on the chase. Slay gets locked up under the tower, and he will be falling. So far, it's a 1-for-1, but Skill, he finds himself a whole bunch of trouble. Lolita just simply cuts a spell, and he will be falling. ASUS Fate, however, is on the chase right now. Archie finds himself in a very difficult situation, and it's a double kill for the Nocturne. Vi tries to do as much damage before he falls, and he is able to get a kill, but now will he be able to make the escape? Akio gets the flay, and Jinky looks like that was a mispress of the button as he Zonias himself in a very awkward position.
Slay killing off JLC in a 1v2 matchup. Really impressive. They did extend themselves through the turret, letting Ochi pick up that kill, but the reinforcement coming from ASUS Fate just managed to sweep up the late extended ace. ASUS Fate are really on the ball with reinforcing their teammates. Really working together as a team.
So it is going to be the Iceborne Gauntlet that's going to be picked up by JLC over here. Meanwhile, ASUS Fate, they do pick up the last outer turret of the game. So it's 26-13. They've secured themselves a very comfortable 7,000 goal lead over the Wargods team. And looks like they're in a much better position to take the game than they were in the previous game at this time.
So I'd like to bring up something that you mentioned earlier on, how Stronger had to rush for that Mikhail's Crucible. It is now 27 minutes in the game, and he still doesn't have that Mikhail's Crucible.
Precisely. Even more interestingly, he went for the Ruby side zone. So that's another 800 goal that he set himself behind. So I have to say, the poor optimization from Stronger is actually what's causing the GameX Wargods to fall behind in this game, simply because he didn't have the Mikhail's Crucible to prepare for when ASUS Fate had all these very scary power spikes. He now finds himself in a very awkward situation.
So ASUS Fate is going to take their power right into this mid lane. He's going to try for this inhibitor turret. Vi is going to go very aggressive on the Slay. He's going to take a little bit of damage, so ASUS Fate is going to back off from that one. Ultimates are going to come off cooldown. Actually, they are off cooldown right now, so ASUS Fate have the gun loaded. Will they pull off the trigger? Wargods, they have to step up their game.
The Wargods, they're finding themselves in a very difficult situation. They need to establish vision on the side of the map. I have to say they've done a pretty a decent job of that in the bottom half of the map, but we have to see how ASUS Fate decides to approach this because now it's 28 minutes of the game. Baron is an objective, and Dragon will be spawning in a minute or so.
So this will be the third dragon for ASUS Fate. So if Wargods don't contest this, they are gonna get hunted down even quicker with their movement speed coming in. Looks like ASUS Fate, however, want to go for this Baron instead.
The whole team is sneaking around the corner. Very sneaky play coming in from the ASUS Fate team. Oh, JLC, he might get caught over here, but he has the vision onto them. Oh! Barely, almost. Jinky could have gotten the catch on the JLC.
So once again, Wargods gonna have that inner lane. They're gonna push out that mid lane. Will ASUS Fate coming from the rank?
Oh, there we go. This is bad. Here comes the Righteous Glory into the Unstoppable Force. The Righteous Glory doesn't really proc onto anyone. They do get the turret, but now Stronger will be the focus. The Soul Shackles does stun up Akio, however. Mill will go in ham, and he picks up one kill for himself. Vi doing tons of damage. Collateral buffed, chunking down multiple members of the GameX Wargods. GLC still finding the angle of approach from the side. This is dangerous for the ASUS Fate team, but even more so for the Wargods as they're forced to back away and try to recon enemy territory. ASUS Fate, they're not going to have any of the nonsense, and they just turn around and pick up the dragon for themselves.
ASUS Fate really pulling the trigger on the engage. Oh, Ochi's gonna come in with the ultimate.
Will they be able to get a skill? Here comes the home guard teleport from JLC. Will he be able to catch anyone? Oh, it's the Destiny pop here. Ochi is the Zonya's bait, but he's in 5 people and he immediately gets bursted down by Slay.
So that previous fight was the one that Wargods were looking for. They get the turret and they get a kill, but they didn't have the health to fight through that burst coming in from ASUS Fate. Their ultimates didn't really land quite on the mark that they wanted to. The Unstoppable Force hit only a single target. Paranoia brought Miaoyu too far back, but Wargods were too far behind to actually bring that fight back in. They overextended. Ochi went too far deep, getting himself killed and giving up the dragon to the side of ASUS Fate.
So now Skill is picking up the red bar for himself. The Wargods, they've dug themselves into a very uncomfortable position. They've dug themselves into a very deep hole, and they've dug themselves into what looks like a 0-2 defeat from what it looked like what could have been a victory in the first game. I'm wondering how it feels like to be in the position of Wargods right now. They're so close to winning the first game, and now they're finding themselves just falling apart against ASUS Fate.
JLC has that Frostborn Gauntlet, but he hasn't really having been too much effect in the team fights. He always coming from behind. Not really the position you want to be as the guy who has utility.
They don't even clear out the vision, just not showing the opponents any respect and starting out the Baron. This might be the turning point. This has to be the turning point. Is X Game Wargods, they have to respond to this one. They burst down the AD carry, and they're just turning onto the Baron itself. GLC trying to do whatever he can in the sidelines. Multiple members committed to the side. The support of X Game Wargods picked up on the sidelines as well. JLC dropped really low, but will they be able to stop this attempt on the Baron? They've lost 2 people so far. Are they going to continue? Jinky misses the Ring of Frost. Skill, he has the Sonic Wave. Will he be able to get the Resonating Strike and the Steal? And JLC will be falling. No, that's in fact is going to be Archie who tries to go in, but he's unable to achieve anything. Now Skill, he has the slow dropped onto him. He's forced to pop the flash, and Wargods are in a whole bunch of trouble.
ASUS Fate played that very well. They knew that Wargods were around the corner, so the moment they came in to try and spot out that Baron, they just went in, stun locked, took down Vi. That's your damage threat gone. Jinky took out Stronger, and that was essentially nothing they could do against that Baron buff. JLC was already so low. Going in meant that he would have died, which he did. Man, Wargods had nothing to say about that Baron buff and should have just let it go.
Definitely indeed, but now they find themselves 9,000 gold behind with a Baron buff on their opponents. Wargods, they need to pull off a very solid turtling defense. The previous game was ASUS Fate, who were able to turtle pretty well, but now you have to wonder if Wargods can perform a similar, if not better, defense of their own base.
32 minutes in, Wargods, Vi has not.
There we go, straight. It's just being a man and charging into his opponents. He is the AD carry, but he doesn't care. Just going for getting the buckshot and laying the damage down. This is the law, and Gracie says he is the sheriff. Oh, he doesn't even care. Just dropping the collateral damage into his opponent's faces.
That Baron buff cannon minion is gonna do a lot of work.
And he finds a solo kill onto Vi. The Corki tries to dual slay, but 11, 3 and 2 the Graves is just way too fat. The Hook actually missing ASUS Fate. They're just gonna tear through their opponent's base. There we go. Righteous Glory together with the Unstoppable Force. Tons of damage coming through. Archie will go down. Skill will go down. And Stronger will be the next one to fall. ASUS Fate, they're gonna be looking to clean up. It's a little bit hard to catch jealousy for the ace, but he turns around, he gets the kill, and this is gonna be the ace as the last shot will be coming from Stray. And that looks like it's gonna be game as ASUS Fate turn on to the Nexus starts. That's gonna be the first start. It's gonna be the second turret. Vi will be respawning soon, but can Takaki hold off the defense? And looks like the answer is gonna be no. Looks like this is gonna be game. ASUS Fate, they turn on to the Nexus. Congratulations, it's gonna be a 2-0 victory for the Vietnamese team.
ASUS Fate really putting that one out of the bag. They knew that they were a stronger team. They came in, they took the series. First game a little shaky, almost lost it at the with JLC backdooring, but they managed to secure that with Jinky's amazing Syndra play. And this game, they just didn't let up.
Definitely,
they had the ball the entire game.
An impressive game from ASUS Fate. It could have been better, but I have to say I was impressed after what they showed in the first game. They really stepped up the game and dismantled Wargods in the second game. They went for the wombo combo, just brute force their way, just drop all those multiple spells. But here's the thing, I have to criticize Strongest Morgana in this case. The fact that he didn't go for the kills, we mentioned this multiple times in the game, I felt that is what cost Wargods the game.
I mean, it wasn't just Morgana. Vi didn't even build a quick super sash. He went for the Blade of Rune King, and he went for BF Sword. That BF Sword could have been a quick super sash. That could have been the answer to the CC that was coming up from ASUS Fate.
So there we have it. Congratulations to ASUS Fate. It's going to be 2-0. So let's take a look at what's going to be happening next Wednesday. It's going to be Group C action, with the first games of the night going to be between Team Fat Rabbit against Saigon Jokers to determine who's going to come up first in the group. And Hanoi Fu Louis will be trying to salvage whatever points they can against the Jakarta Juggernauts in the second series of the night. Well, personally, I will be rooting for the Fat Rabbits.
Yes, you will.
And so once again, this is Jerry Storm, and casting with me is I Freedom. We'll see you next week on the GPL.